Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Candace Del Castillo, and today's title is Destiny, What You Were Born For. Please like and subscribe. I thank you in advance. All right, Romans 12:11-29 says, the gifts and the call of God are irrevocable. That tells us we have gifts and a call on our life that can't be changed. It may not be a straight shot to get there, but over time, as the river flows, as you go with the ebb and the flow of things, as he has to sometimes take you back around because perhaps you weren't exactly cooperative, he'll help you get from where you were born until where you belong, because your purpose in life matters to the rest of the world. It really does. It's that important. Prosperity scriptures are a really good way to help you along, to encourage you that your dreams really will come true, especially when he has his signature of approval on them. When he endorses your dreams, you can be sure they're going to happen, and that's a promise. As a matter of fact, I learned about 5 years ago, maybe a little more, around the 5-year mark. As I'm speaking, it's April of 2025. I learned then that God wasn't just telling me what I was going to be doing and saying, that's it, it's done. You know, he wasn't stringent. It wasn't really lock solid. There was a beautiful flow, and he invited me to co-labor or co-craft that dream with him. A dream is something in your heart. Yeah, you can have a sleeping dream that can actually be what tells you that what you're going to be doing, like Joseph. He was considered a dreamer. He was a prophet, and he had several dreams about his future that he didn't understand at the time, but they all came into being. He had a rough road to haul. However, it developed the character he needed to carry out his purpose and plan, to feed the world during a serious 7-year famine, and to ultimately be the prime minister of Egypt, even though he was a Hebrew. So don't think that what you were dreaming, what your dream was, what your heart's desire was, if God had endorsed that, don't think, I hate to tell people what not to think, but don't think that it's not going to happen just because it hasn't yet. We need to be persistent. This is what faith is about. This is what trust in God is about, is walking the journey, going for the long haul. It may not happen right away. It probably won't, but stay with it and co-labor on it with him. What I mean by that is just pray into it with him. Talk to him about it. He will give you scriptures. He will give you rhema words. That's words that are not just the written word of scripture, but the word that you almost hear it. You hear him. Sometimes I actually do hear him, not audibly, but he will speak to me in several ways. I'll feel him kind of coming from like an elevator real slow up until he gets to my mind, and I'll realize that's God speaking to me. That's one of the ways he talks to me. Sometimes I'll just know something. He'll just plop it in. And sometimes he'll speak to me in words. I'll actually hear it. And I'll know that those words were his words. Again, not audibly, but they're in my spirit. They were his words, but I could tell that they weren't my own imagination trying to make them up. If you're trying to make something up, go ahead and give it a shot, but it's not going to work. So let him talk to you and get used to hearing his voice. The more we put things into practice, the more we stay with it with diligence, the better and stronger it becomes. The better we get at it, the stronger the gift becomes. All right, if you'll excuse me while I glance down at my notes. Destiny is generally linked to obedience and trust, just like I've been saying. So walk along the path with him. You may start out as a dishwasher somewhere or food prep in a kitchen, but over time you'll find yourself perhaps as one of the lead teachers in the school, and this is just an example, or even the principal. Whatever it is your heart desires is him inside desiring it through you. We won't do anything. We won't really walk out what it takes if the dream isn't strong enough. And when it becomes to that point, he'll turn it into a promise because the world depends on it. And what he promises, he performs. And he performs all things for us. Philippians 1:6 says, Paul said, I am confident in this very thing, that he who began a good work within you will be faithful to complete it. You can trust that. Philippians again, Philippians 3:13 and 14 says this, and I learned this in the New Testament, the Living Bible. Pretty close, same thing. Not exactly, but the Living Bible, which is now the New Living Translation. You can see how I overlapped those. So in the Living Bible, which is what it was back in the day, and now the New Living Translation, Philippians 3:13 says, I will bring all my energies to bear on this one thing, forgetting what lies behind and looking forward to what lies ahead. No bowling balls get to come along with you on this journey. Then it goes on to say, I will press toward the mark of the high call of God in Jesus Christ. That's your dream. That's your promise. Pressing towards. And nurture that. Nurture it. How do you nurture your promise? How do you nurture your dream? Well, I'd write it down. I'd write it out. Sometimes it gets kind of long. You may have to do it in categories or maybe segments that you will put it in. I have done this. I used to have it all written here and there, and it was a mess. So the Lord told me he wanted it to be nice and orderly and decent, because he does everything decently and in order. So I put topics and headings. It doesn't have to be perfect and all perfectly typeset, but it worked well for me so I could keep it more organized. And because it was getting really big over the years. As I speak with you, my dream turned promise is now 10 years old as of last month on the 15th of March. That's a long time to stay with something, but because I was born for this, I would never let it go. Not ever. He has given me so many promises, so many confirmations, so many affirmations that I know that I know. It took a while to believe this. That's why it takes a long time. It may not take you 10 years. It may take longer than 10 years. I don't know what your personal journey is going to be like, but I do know this. You stay with it and it will be fulfilled. Sometimes you may only have one thing checked off, maybe just two, in 10 years, but you know that you know that you know that what he said is true, what he promises he performs, he will perform all things for you. Hold fast. So obedience has a lot to do with it. Trust has a lot to do with your destiny. Isaiah 1:19 says that if we are willing and obedient, we will eat of the good of the land, the best of the land. Willing is one thing, obedient is another. Right now, the Lord has just recently called me to start up another March for Jesus movement. I've never started a movement before, but they always start with one person. And he's using me for this one. Now he's changed the name. That was a good 20, 25 years ago when we had the March for Jesus. But now he wants it to be called Yeshua's March. So that's what I'm doing. And he's brought me a really wonderful administrative assistant. I do not pay people for this. I'm starting out with very little myself. And so we're trusting him to put it all together, but we're moving forward as if we have all the money it would take and more. And that's just how you do it. You just follow it. You're willing and obedient. I could be willing all day long, but if I wasn't obedient to this, we never get it done. And as it turns out, it's going to be on the first day of the feast of, not Passover, Pentecost. So, and there's other churches doing things on Pentecost that evening and into the next day, excuse me. And that'll go for 3 days. So I'm thrilled about this. At first I was just like, well, okay, if it works out, it works out. If not, it's yours, Lord. But now I realize this does depend on me quite a bit. and the people that the Lord will bring to help me. And I've got an amazing gal who's just, like I said, she's my administrative assistant, and she is incredible. Kudos to you, Lynn. Okay, Matthew 6:21. Your treasure is the place that your heart resides. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So your heart needs to be clean and pure. We need to guard our hearts. Here's a few scriptures on that. We can't follow a heart that's going to go the wrong way. Psalm 51:10, David said, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me." Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the well springs of life. That's a big deal. Guarding your heart is huge. Guarding it from becoming attracted to the wrong person, from becoming involved in a wrong relationship, from perhaps taking a job that wasn't the one that had your name on it. We just have to guard our heart. We have to keep pure what we set before our eyes. David said, and I don't remember which verse this is, I don't have it written down, but he said, I will walk before my heart, I will walk before the Lord with a pure heart all the day long. I will set no evil before my eyes. There we go. TV, screens, phones, we have access to everything now. We have to choose to walk uprightly and not set any evil before our eyes. What goes into your eyes, even if it's your imagination, that's eyes. You have eyes up there. When you can imagine something, you can see it. And when you can see it, it will affect your heart for either the good or the bad, and sometimes even flat out evil or wicked. Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the well springs of life. I repeated that for a purpose. And trust, I mentioned earlier, Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. So do trust. I have found myself in the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school of our town, just so I could get my foot in the mountain of education. That mountain contains every single other mountain there is, with the exception of religion or faith, unless it's a Christian school, then that would be the mountain of religion also. So that's a big deal. And that's why education has gotten hit so hard with the transgender and the critical race theory and all such wicked things and heinous things that are going on, even to the point of persecuting to jail and prison for years parents who say no to their children having any transgender teaching and actual altering on their bodies, and they're required to pay for it. Not the teachers, the parents. Oh, what a world. So I'm grateful to be in that mountain. And if it meant coming in as a dishwasher and a salad food prep person, so be it. I'm in the mountain. And I really give all my heart to those jobs. It's not the only thing I do. I actually have 2 careers that pay much better than this. But I'm grateful to be in this place, to bring the presence of Jesus Christ, the light of the glory of God there every time I'm there. When I smile at the people who come through the lunch line, when I give somebody an encouraging word, just anything I can do and still do a good job at my job, it brings the Lord in with you. You don't go in alone. All right, now how do you know that what your destiny is and that you're on the right track with it? And if you've arrived there, I want to give Robert Henderson a kudos for these. These are things I learned from him, and I agreed wholeheartedly. As a matter of fact, as he was giving out the list of this, the list I'm going to read to you right now, I was just cheering. I was like, yes, I thought so. Ooh, I was validated. And encouraged by this list, and I hope you will be too. First of all, You'll like it. Ultimately, you'll like it. You may not like the journey that you're on to get to it very much, but you be faithful, you be honorable, and you walk in godliness and integrity, and I assure you, you will get to the place that you like it. Don't complain and grumble. Remember what happened to the Israelites when they murmured and complained out in the wilderness, pretty much from the get-go. When they got butted up against the Red Sea and Pharaoh was behind them, they complained. And so it started early, and they stayed out there for 40 years because of it. Also because they would not go into the promised land when God gave them that directive to do so. Be sure that when God tells you to go in, you do. Because it was their lack of going into the promised land due to fear of the giants there that kept them out wandering around for 40 years. That was their whole life. That's all they had left, and they died out there. Then it was their offspring that were able to go in and follow. The first group had Moses to follow. The second group had Joshua to follow, and they went in and took the land. And they pretty much fought battles the whole time. Don't think it's going to be that easy. You may have a lot of times of refreshing and coast and rest and peace, and that's good. Being in rest and peace and joy is a big thing. That's important, no matter what you're doing, fighting a battle or not. But the thing is, you've got to go in to the place that God is sending you, and He'll help you. As a matter of fact, what do we find out from that? We found out from Rahab the harlot, when Joshua sent the spies out, that to check out Jericho, which was their first, that was a big one. That was really big. Rahab the harlot is the one that helped them out. And she said, I'll help you and I'll keep you safe and hidden if you will remember me and my family when you come in to take over Jericho. And they agreed to that. That was their agreement. And then she told them, we have been terrified of you for 40 years because we saw you come across the Red Sea. We heard what happened. Everybody in the region has. And even our most mightiest men have been terrified. Like, she really stressed the emphasis on that because we knew your God was with you. If He would part the Red Sea for you to come from Egypt over here, we knew you would win every time. Well, what did they stay out of the promised land for? Fear of the very giants that were terrified of them. The giants assigned to you are terrified of you. Jesus is, if you're filled with Jesus Christ, if you've got the Holy Spirit in you, if God is your Father, if you said yes to Him and you're born again, then there's no demon in hell that can stand against you and win. Not ever one time. They're afraid of Jesus. They know he overcame them on the cross. They know that He has put them down into hell forever once the judgment comes, and that's where they have to go. They are terrified. All they want to do is lie to you and help you think that they are bigger than you and that they're going to win. Got news. They've already lost. Bam. Okay, so ultimately, you're going to like it. Number 2, you're going to be good at it. This will be something you'll either be good at, you might have been good at since day one, or you'll get good at, but you will be good at it, and you'll like it. It will be, number 3, it will be the key dream of your heart. It'll be the key player, the thing that takes your breath away, the things you want, the thing you want most in life. It will be that good for you. Better than this. God has said that to me once. He said, it's going to be better than this. And He actually called out like this. So it will be better than this. And you will have favor. Maybe not with everybody. Maybe not with everybody that you'd like to have favor with. We wish all of our family members and our friends would really like us and, cheer us on and support what we do and agree with everything we say. But have you noticed that's not always the case? But you will be affirmed by the people that you need to have their affirmation and their favor so they can put you in those places of elevation and get you where you need to go. Even if it's only 1 or 2. Generally, you don't have a great big crowd following you on this, but you've got just the ones you need to get you into the places that you need to be next. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, until you make it. So hold fast to that which thou hast, so that no man take your crown. Thanks for staying with me to the end. God bless you richly. This is probably the #1 most important message I could ever share with you. There's going to be a lot of important things, or I wouldn't be on YouTube doing this. But stay with it. There's a lot of good to come. This isn't the end, but I wanted to put it up towards the front so you could start now if you haven't yet, and hold fast if you're wobbling a bit. You'll make it. Just don't quit. God bless you.